Today I'm working on refinishing this beautiful old table that we got out of a school here in town. I've already sanded it down with a 60 grit. I'm going to go around and do that one more time before I do a finer sand on the top, and then I'm going to go around and check all my legs and make sure they're sanded. I'm going to throw up a picture here of what this table used to look like. So I'm going to get it sanded down today, finish sanding it down today, and then get a coat of stain on it, get a few coats of poly on it, and it should be good to go. I've probably got about 6 hours of sanding into this thing already. I mainly used a belt sander for the top of this, but there was so much glue in this wood that I probably went through 10 or 12 belts just because they were no good after using them for 5 minutes or so. But I'm going to finish up top of this, do some more finish sanding, and then put a coat of stain on it. I'm going through a lot of these 4.5 inch sanding sheets. This is a pack of 25. I probably have 10 or so left. This must be I'm not exactly sure what wood this is, but it's a really hard material. Alrighty, I'm going to go over the top again with some more of this 60 grit, and then I'll come by with like an 80 or a 120 or I don't know, whatever I've got, and do another finish sanding on the top. I'm going to touch up the legs again with the 60 grit and make sure that I got everywhere. So let's go ahead and do that. Found some 150 grit, so I'm going to jump right on over to that. I know it's a big jump between the 60 grit and the 150 grit, but I don't need this tabletop to be perfect. I just want it better than 60. I'm not sure if you'd be able to tell from those pictures of what this thing used to look like, but it had gouges in it, it had permanent marker written all over it, it had a little bit of everything, so it has sanded up really nice compared to what it used to look like. My neighbor decided that it was a good time to go ahead and mow the yard, so we got a little bit of voiceover action for this video here. What I'm doing now is just very lightly wiping this down with some water. I don't want a whole lot of water in the washcloth because the idea is not to let any water soak into this wood. You're just using that water to get the dust off of the top of the table and to get down into the grains just a little bit. So it's a good day to do this because of how hot it is outside. That water is going to dry up right away and it's not going to swell down into the wood. So make sure that you rinse out your washcloth a lot to get that sawdust out of there, so that it can continue to pick up more and more. Now we're going to let this water dry. It's very important that all this moisture is out of here before you start to put down any stain. But it really did do a good job of pulling a lot of that dust out. I can tell by looking in my water bucket that I was using. But next thing we're going to do once all this moisture is gone is use a tack cloth. And I'll show you that when it's time to do that. But you can get those anywhere that you can buy stain. It's just a real sticky cloth that will run over it once. Make sure that we've got all the dust out. And then it'll be time to put down our first coat of stain, so stay tuned. Alrighty, and this is a tack cloth. It is very sticky. You just want to run it all around the table, kind of like the same thing you did with the washcloth. This table has sat for about 2 hours now. I took that time and washed my truck, so I didn't get too impatient and start working on this again before I should have. So I'm going over this whole thing with the tack cloth and just kind of flipping it around, you know, kind of changing up the surface of the tack cloth that I'm using, because you will definitely start to notice some dust sticking to it. But anyway, that's what a tack cloth is. It's very helpful in getting the dust out from all those hard to reach places and down in the grains of the wood. So it'll definitely help your finish if you take this step. It is a Minwax wood finish penetrating stain red oak. And I didn't shake it. I did kind of hold it up and down a few times to mix it, but you don't want to actually shake this stuff. I'm going to apply with the foam brush. Start down here on this end. Kind of let it soak up into your brush a little bit. And you want to apply with the grain. And what we'll do is we'll put a coat of this on and let it soak in a little bit, and then we'll come by with a cloth and get off all the excess. There's a lot of excess sitting on top right now, so I'm going to go over it again and let some of that soak up into my brush. Notice that I have not dipped back into the can yet because I haven't needed to. Starting to soak in quite a bit more down here where I started. Do the edges at the same time that you do the top so that they sit just the same amount of time. We'll come back and do the sides and the legs later. Now I'm going to brush this excess down here. So it's not just pooling on top. That'll help blend these together a little bit too. This is going to look awesome. Now I don't have a whole lot for ventilation in my garage here. I do have a box fan set up. It's shut off right now because it's kind of noisy. But it is important to do this in a well ventilated area, both so that you don't pass out and so that it dries properly. Alright, we'll go ahead and start now. I'm going to try to do this in 4 sections. Alright, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here. I'm going to get my fan turned on and I'll be back. Alright, this has all had time to soak in, so I'm going to go over it with a clean cloth now and get off any excess so it's not just sitting on top. Alright, the top looks nice and even, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the sides here and to the legs. So, let's do it. Alrighty, it's been about 24 hours since we put the stain down on this table, so it's time to put down the first coat of polyurethane. I think that this table is going to look really cool. The stain did a really good job of bringing out the grains in the wood, and the poly is going to make it pop even more. So I'll go ahead and bring you a little bit closer and we'll get our first coat down. This is a Minwax fast drying polyurethane clear semi-gloss is the finish. I'm going to lightly tip it up and down a few times. Do not shake this stuff, but it does start to separate after I have used this can before. Very nice. Again, just like everything else, going with the grain of the wood. With the polyurethane, it's important to get a nice even coat on. Alrighty guys, I'm going to get my fan going in here and get some tunes turned on, and I'll be back once this first coat is on.
Little words like I do, lying, cheating, screwing.
Hey guys, real quick, we are going to put the second coat of poly on this table. The first coat went on awesome. It's actually been 4 or 5 days since that went on. I've gotten busy and haven't gotten back to it. And on top of that, it's real humid outside, so I wanted to make sure that it had plenty of time to cure to this table. So, like we said when we put that first coat on though, it really brought the grains out in this table. I'm definitely going to get that second coat on the top here. I don't think I'm going to do it on the legs. I'm going to get the second coat on the top, see how that looks, and I might even put a third coat on the top, just since that's going to see the most amount of wear. But I'll go ahead and show you around the table here a little bit. So as you can see, it turned out really nice. The legs as well look awesome. Side rails look good. So, this table must have been sanded down a few times before, because you can see where I kind of found some old material down underneath of there. But it looks so cool. It gives it so much character. So let's go ahead and put that second coat on. And just like the first coat, we need to get all the way around the edges. Everything on the top of this table needs to get a second coat, because that's where all the wear is going to be. You can already tell how much that first coat really sucked in to the wood, because this coat is sitting on top even more than that one did. The first time that I put this poly on, I made the mistake of having the garage door cracked a little bit, and there was some sun beating down in on this table, and that was not good, because I was getting bubbling on the legs because it was drying so fast, and it was just trying to absorb that poly. So I had to close the garage door and kind of sand it down a little bit and put on a second coat. As soon as I get this coat on, I am going to crack the garage door a little bit, crank my fan back onto high, let this sit for a full 24 hours, and then I'm going to call it good on this table. I think it turned out awesome. Alrighty guys, I'm actually going to end this video here. I am just finishing up the top of this table quick. I'm halfway done, and I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope that whatever it is that you're refinishing turns out just as awesome as this one did, because it looks really cool. And the best part about this is going to be, you know, people asking, oh my gosh, who did that, or how did you do that? And it's really quite simple. So take some pride in your work. Make sure that you share with others how you got your project done. But until next time, please rate this video, comment what it is that you're working on, subscribe to the channel for other things that I'm doing around the house, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.